2 days ago, I did a video saying that the Musk-Trump confrontation had made an important shift towards one where Musk seemed gearing up to take an active campaigning spoiler role that was going to change the dynamics of everything. In retrospect, this was the moment in the launch of a spacecraft where you notice something flaring where it shouldn't be, or the craft wobbling or rotating in a way that it shouldn't. And of course, we know what happens after you've noticed that. What is now often ironically referred to as an unscheduled rapid disassembly. So long as no one's on board, you can look at the ferocity of the explosion with wonderment, oohs and ahs aplenty. And then you notice all the burning debris on its way down to the ground, and you have to wonder just what that stuff is going to land on, or who. And so we are. Yes, there is schadenfreude aplenty to be had today. Yes, it is fun to see the two most powerful bullies in America slapping ineffectually at each other, calling each other names and all of that. But there's an important element to this, because this is one of those pivot points where we learn how dark, or not, this administration is prepared to go. Let's do the briefest of recaps, because I assume most people watching this have already caught up with the details of the exchange. Having been somewhat restrained up until now, Elon Musk and Donald Trump started an old-fashioned flame war, going at each other online without much in the way of restraint, nor indeed of considered strategy. Musk said if it hadn't been for him, Trump would never have gotten elected. Trump said that Elon Musk had gone crazy and it was all because of the cancellation of the EV mandate. Musk said that was a lie. He said Donald Trump was in the Epstein files and that was why they hadn't been published. Trump said the easiest way to save billions from the federal budget would be to terminate Musk's government contracts. Musk agreed with a tweet saying that Trump should be impeached and replaced by J.D. Vance. And he later posted a poll asking his supporters if they supported the idea of a new centrist political party. Now, I heard Anthony Scaramucci this morning saying that according to insiders, the Trump team were looking for de-escalation options because it's not in the interest for either side to continue this down into the abyss. Maybe that's true, but so far I've done pretty well on calling this process by ignoring the alleged wisdom of insiders, because there's a reasonably brutal logic that applies here, and it's another of these moments where the administration has a moment of truth in front of it. Let me put it like this: authoritarian governments historically deal most ruthlessly with those from within who become traitors to the cause. And let's face it, Elon Musk has gone nuclear on this. He's attacking the administration with serious intent. It's not a bit of fun. It's not a critique based on that one bill. First, Musk has his own social media platform and a large audience inclined to loyalty towards him. Some of them are now split because they counted themselves as loyal to both. But he has a route to them that he controls. Second, while the claim that Musk got Trump elected is a weak one with the base, it's probably a stronger one with elected Republicans in Congress and elsewhere. The pitch to the base comes with the claim about Trump being implicated in the Epstein files, because there are a couple of places where Trump's base dug into conspiracy theory heaven and became so fixated on what was to be found there that they were capable of turning against the Trump administration if the realities that match the theories went against it. So a principal one of those was the Epstein files, when it was promised that they would be released, and then what was released was just a bunch of meaningless waffle. That group was furious and suspicious. On that occasion alone, they did not give Trump a pass. They wanted the full unredacted files, they wanted them now, and they didn't get them. So Elon Musk, and let's be clear, there's no evidence that Musk actually has insider knowledge on this, because, he's tweeted misinformation and shown that he leaps to conclusions for the last year, so why assume it's going to change? That said, given Trump's long association with Epstein and the nature of the man that's wholly documented, kind of would be surprising if he weren't implicated in it. Not sure it'd be a surprise to anyone. Anyway, Musk going after that is a direct pitch to the hardcore of the base. What can Musk do to peel them away from Trump? Not much, but that's one thing. Now, all of that is as direct an attack against Trump as you can make. Add to that the call to impeach. Add to that the musings of starting a rival political party. The Trump team right now is facing not a mere temper tantrum, not a public spat that their opponents will find amusing and will turn into a flood of memes, but nothing much else. They are facing an existential crisis. And the fact is that, as Trump would say, they do hold the cards. They have the resources of the state. The question is, will they follow the logic of their emergent authoritarianism and use those resources ruthlessly, which they could do, to completely destroy Elon Musk? Or do they look into the darkness of that abyss, decide that they haven't quite got the stomach for where that leads, and decide to pull back? To find some way to pretend that this is still politics as normal, just for a while. People who are on a journey, after all, where the values that they thought they had, and I'm talking really about the people around Trump here, not Trump himself, are being transformed in rapid order into something that they would never have owned before. Well, there comes a moment, that moment of truth, where they have to take the decision to carry on going or to bail. The loyalist lightweights from the Department of Justice and the FBI, they may well be prepared to open investigations into Joe Biden and the use of the autopen, probably assuming as they did so that it would keep the president happy, probably not find anything. But will they really pitch with full enthusiasm into a deadly serious exercise of bringing down Elon Musk? Because let's see what the administration could do, assuming that it sees this as an existential threat and it decides to use all the legal resources available to it to eliminate that threat. Let's assume for now illegal methods, political violence is off the table, because happily that is not yet endemic in the exercise of power in the United States. Trump has already threatened the ending of Musk's contracts. Would he sabotage the United States space program to do it? Well, why not? Let's face it, Trump never cared much about going to Mars. That was all Musk. Trump has been dismantling scientific agencies left, right and centre without the slightest inkling of what he's giving up. So why wouldn't he do that here? Or maybe they would just insist that Musk had to be fired from SpaceX before it could gain contracts. Either way, destroying Musk's businesses would definitely be on the table. Musk's power is his money, but declare unrestrained war against EVs or maybe against Tesla by name, and that could be a power significantly reduced. Then there's a question, could you get Musk into jail? What about all those shortcuts and backdoors that were suspected and reported in the work of Doge? The Trump administration of old, as in a few weeks ago, and the Congress of old wouldn't hold it accountable, had zero interest in investigating such allegations, but now could be open season. If one of Musk's agents really did insert a backdoor into government systems through which data was exported, that is, as I said at the time, a huge deal. All those investigations that were going on into Musk's businesses that magically went away when Doge ripped through them, all of those could come back, literally, with a vengeance. So, this is the question. In a genuine authoritarian moment, the powerful insider who turns against the machine, they end up ruined, discredited, and probably in prison. I mean, in history, some of them ended up with an ice pick through the brain, but again, I'm pretty sure we are not there. Now, Trump is not competent, so you might ask, well, could it be that this would go the way that he should go, according to the logic of his position? But TACO applies. Trump will seek an off-ramp, or he will just occasionally rail at Musk in all caps on social media and run some light interference well short of what he could do, because he doesn't have the stomach for the fight. Steve Bannon is saying Musk should be declared an illegal alien and exported, but Trump would find that a step too far. But then that would leave Musk free to engage in an active campaign, to utilise his financial resources to continue to seek to turn the movement against the administration. You can see that this is taken seriously. The Trump team has reportedly been demanding that supporters of both declare for one side or the other. Musk has been making his pitch on that front, saying, "Some food for thought as they ponder this question. Trump has 3.5 years left as president, but I will be around for 40 plus years." How much credence should we give to Elon Musk's interest in setting up a, quote, centrist third party? Well, I'm inclined to say zero. Look, this is a man who was campaigning for the hard-right AfD party for the German elections. He's a man who declared that Nigel Farage wasn't the man to be leading Reform UK because someone more extreme, like Tommy Robinson, should be pulled out of jail to do better. This is a man who's been spreading far-right toxic disinformation on his platform for the last year and attacking mainstream politicians in the most aggressive ways possible. You don't get to do all of that and then suddenly transform yourself into a champion of the centre ground. Yes, I personally think there is a moment of opportunity for a new party of the genuine centre in the United States, because the logic of a two-party system is that both parties should be relatively broad church parties, because for either to win an election, conventionally they have to take swing voters with them. So you want to be able to encompass the most passionate purists in the party, which is always an uneasy fit, with the moderate pragmatists, and to prioritise what will work and what can win. But at this moment in history, you have the two parties who have more and more identified themselves with their passionate purists, and that's what made MAGA and the extremism that underpins it possible. Where are the moderates formerly in the Republican Party, the never-Trumpers who felt utterly defeated by the transformation of their party? Where are the moderates in the Democratic Party who didn't sign up to the worst excesses of identity politics and the demands of campaign groups that had the effect of making them seem alien to ordinary voters, but are just keeping their heads down? Well, wherever they are, I'm willing to bet they are not going to line up behind Elon Musk, however much money he has to throw around. There's another important pivot point, though, because Trump and Musk represented an uneasy coalition that was part of the Trump 2.0 project. That is, the right-wing populists, heavily captured by pro-Russian propaganda and anti-West disinformation, and then a strain of real technocracy stroke fascism. The idea that the tech bros are the smartest people in the room. They are the ones who can remake society in its optimal form. And the stupid people, they're either useful idiots or just idiots. And either way they can be managed, surveilled, and once all the systems are AI enhanced, witless normies will never be able to escape the brutal efficiency and logic of the brave new world. So this would be people like Curtis Yarvin and the so-called Dark Enlightenment movement. PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel is associated. Mosaic founder Mark Andreessen is associated. This is what Time magazine had to say about it. Yarvin advocates for replacing democracy with a kind of techno-feudal state, for the government to be run like a corporation with the president as its CEO. This new system is elitist. Humans fit into dominant submission structures, Yarvin wrote in 2008, and it's authoritarian. If Americans want to change their governments, they're going to have to get over their dictator phobia, he said in 2012. Yum! Sounds delightful. And yes, this has been present in the Trump administration. Yarvin was a guest at Trump's coronation ball. Vice President J.D. Vance, who remember was a protege of Peter Thiel's, he spoke admiringly of Yarvin's influence on his thinking just last year. And indeed, back in 2021, he was quoting Yavin when he was saying that a future Trump administration should, quote, fire every single mid-level bureaucrat, every civil servant in the administrative state, replace them with our people. Oh, and ignore the courts if they objected. So yes, welcome to the future. The question is, what happens to these conflicting influences now? Do they split? Those people had been admirers of Elon Musk's after all. He might not have been directly one of them, but his outlook about how government should run was compatible. He had the same techno drive. He was seen as their champion. Now, you might think the most natural thing is that Musk leads them onto the battlefield. His new political party becomes the focus for their project. I've not seen any of them respond to this latest explosion. I personally think that would be unlikely, because right now they have influence on the direct mechanics of power. They have a potential future champion in the form of J.D. Vance, maybe others as well. Why would you abandon that position for a maverick who doesn't play well with others, when a rational assessment of the odds would suggest that Musk has picked a fight that he is likely to lose? We shall see. As you may have picked up from all of this, all those anti-Trump, anti-Elon, anti-MAGA types who are simply looking at this, grabbing their popcorn and watching it like it's the promised delivery from evil, I think they are missing what is at stake. We are going to discover just what sort of a moment America is really in over the coming month. And I suspect a great deal is going to have changed about how we see the landscape by the end of the year. Could be a good thing. It could well be that the Trump horse refuses to jump the seriously high authoritarian hurdle and helplessly watches as the movement tears itself apart. Absolutely a possibility. Might even argue it's the most likely possibility, given the way the administration went out of its way to select for incompetence. I suppose it's possible that Musk backs down, they fall into an uneasy truce, getting on with their respective businesses, a bit of pressure applied to his businesses and all that. This is what some are encouraging, hoping that, like fighting parents, they could be reconciled and then everything will be like it was. Musk even seemed to encourage this, responding to a tweet from CEO Bill Ackman saying that the two should make peace for the benefit of the country, and Musk replied, "You're not wrong." Well, he can say that now, but I can't see that one happening. You might get some moves in that direction, some things that looked like it in the early days, but the line has been crossed. Don't think it's going to go away just like that with a bit of wishful thinking. So this is also the moment we test the other possibility, that this can end up being the inciting incident for a real episode of darkness in American history. And Elon Musk, and the rest of us as well, will almost certainly enjoy that outcome a great deal less. We're going to find out over the course of the next 3 months or so what kind of America we're really dealing with here.